Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Now we're back again with another alliance war with a new nation versus Super Andromeda Scrolls SAS. Sure you guys know a couple of people in that alliance, perhaps Coop, perhaps somebody else, but New Nation is the team I represent, and we have had a horrible start to the season once again. We have played absolutely abysmal and embarrassing. We died 11 times in the first war, I believe 7 times in the second war. So we're in the right direction, but it doesn't feel good at all. So we have started the season 0-2. Absolutely sucks. And, nothing we can do about it now. We can just try and do better the next war. So for this war, I am bringing a different team of Cosmic Ghost Rider, Black Widow Clairvoyant, and White Magneto for some pre-fights. Now I'm going to be using some big boosts here, and reason for it is because I have some tricky fights. I actually had one fight that I was quite a bit stressed to do as soon as I saw the assignment, because I had some bad memories for it as well, and it seemed very nasty. It turns out that that fight was much more manageable than one more fight that I had to do, and I should have been worried about something else. Either way, first fight here, Warlock against Cosmic Ghost Rider. I have done this fight in particular at least like 3 times before, and it's always a very, very simple matter of just dropping a level 2 basically and dropping a combo after it. But this time, I once again get plagued by input issues, and there's no other explanation for this. So we're gonna see, I will go for full combo here, and I dropped 2 hits, and I was tapping on a special attack button, and nothing happened. And in that while, Warlock blocks it and, dropped 2 hits, pressed level 2, nothing happened, and then obviously as my finger keeps pressing it, it shoots late and basically kind of ruins the entire fight, and I'm kind of a bit flustered. I need to regain my composure, and I need to figure out how am I going to be approaching this fight now. And we have that power drain active on us here as well, which is always a happy time. And, I make out of this fight alive, but this is just yet another one of the problems with this game surrounding inputs. We have had several issues with decks in previous streams, and I have had an issue with decks in first war of the season as well, where I randomly just stood open eating Professor X's level 2, which is very easy to get away with. Not if your dex doesn't trigger though. So, I guess we can chalk it up with me not being able to play this game as well as I think I am, or the game just wants to mess with me. Either way, it doesn't feel nice. It doesn't feel nice. Luckily, I didn't die. Luckily, I made it through the fight perfectly fine. Yes, it will cost me a potion, however, but, that's why I guess we get the compensation potions. Now, next fight is on path 3 in section 2. And here we are up against Silver Surfer on Cutting Wires and Chitonius Thorns node. But if I don't exit the Bleed Curse with Black Widow Clairvoyant, I never ever have to worry about Chitonius Thorns because she's bleed immune. And on top of that, I have class advantage here. Now, Silver Surfer is, however, a high ground defender, so I do need to keep that in mind, which, I will not necessarily manage all that well at all times. And here my 150% power boost really wasn't giving. I was given an advice to use 150% power boost in regards of one of the upcoming fights that I'm about to do. And this entire time, I kind of wish that I was using 200% power boost all the time. So next time, if I'm using Black Widow Clairvoyant, I definitely want to be using 200% power boost, because the power I get back from these level 2s is fairly negligible. And yeah, so here, have a small whoopsie moment. I eat level 1. Unfortunately, that resets my combo meter. So at this point, we have to deal with 2 altitude charges and significant block damage if I ever figure that taking a hit in a block is a necessary thing to do for me. But thanks to the level 2 of Black Widow Clairvoyant being like 8 hits, I believe, we managed to kind of catch up a bit. But he's back at 2 of these altitude charges. and you know, it doesn't feel too good. This fight actually felt a bit stressful, especially after having had that issue in the Warlock fight, but all in all, you know, fairly straightforward fight, nothing too crazy here. Next up is going to be Thor Ragnarok, and I never liked to fight these guys. I never liked to fight these guys. Thor Ragnarok is one of those champions I much prefer not seeing on my paths. It's not that he's particularly hard. It's just I dislike him a lot as a champion in this game to begin with, and then on top of that, he can just be very, very frustrating, especially if at any given point he refuses to throw special attack. You can't deal with a timer. Again, it's not that it's hard, it's more that it's just annoying, and I don't like him. Just don't like him at all, in any capacity. Offensively, defensively, whatever. I think this character still should be deleted from the game, and we should actually get a Thor, not somebody that looks like some orangutan Neanderthal from 2 minutes of a trailer footage. Because this is not the Thor that started Thor Ragnarok, and this is not the Thor that finished Thor Ragnarok. This is literally a character built on 2 minutes of a trailer footage, and in no way, shape, or form reflects the God of Thunder at all. It looks like some berserker Neanderthal from a random RPG game or something. Whatever. Rant over. Black Widow Clairvoyant here. So he has the node. I always forgot how it's called. When I hit his block, he gets armor up. He gets 5 armor ups. It detonates. But that's a good thing because I can get a buff on him whenever I please to trigger my Mystic Dispersion. So that can come in handy at times. And because of that, it's much easier to kind of like manage my power, make sure I get to level 2s all the time, heal up as and when needed. And on top of all of that, we have this hit counter, hit meter to look at. And because I can gain some extra power, I'm not as worried about managing my special attacks. I know every single time I can comfortably get to a level 2 without needing to throw like heavy attacks and things like that. So it's a fairly straightforward fight. Just bait out level 1s, bait out level 2s, make sure that I can throw a special attack whenever he is close to activate his massive power gain. Now and then hit his block to give him that armor up buff, so I can eat it up, trigger my own Mystic Dispersion, get some more power. Everything's going fine. He's at like, what, 17% there, now 12%. You know, not the quickest, not the slowest fight. And thankfully, it's over. Now, the next fight that I am about to do is the fight that I was stressed out. I was absolutely stressed out before that because Nimrod is a very, very nasty piece of work on defense because you get power locked every time you feel a bar of power, and then you can get these power drains placed on you, and then he can go unstoppable and all this other stuff. And on top of that, we have Titonia's Taunts here, which basically means that I kind of need to stay in the bleed curse unless I can get rid of all of the armor buffs very easily. And we have Buffet, so every time I do Dex, he's going to regen a ton. That's why I do have help of my teammates. That's actually going to help me out massively. So I have all 3 Mr. Fantastic's pre-fights placed on here for me. Thankfully, it is an option now that he starts with 4 charges. We just needed Petrify for one of the fights. And I was able to benefit from the rest of these 3 charges. And now, on top of that, I have White Magneto pre-fight, which obviously gives me extra attack as well. It's attack or ability accuracy. But either way, better parry stance and all that good stuff. And that is going to be the situation here. Now, I haven't done the greatest job managing my power, and some place in the middle here, I actually just kind of abandoned the idea of throwing level 2s as well. I'm just gonna go and parry heavy at the end. Whilst I still can, I am dropping those level 2s, but because of that power drain that Nimrod's placing, because of that power suppression node that I'm going up against here, you know, my power is being severely limited. At this point, I already see 10 of those that power drain. So I just go in for some parry heavies, and he's at 27%, so this fight has gone very well so far. And I do trigger the buffet here, but in between the 3 debuffs from Mr. Fantastic pre-fights, one of them being Petrify, reducing healing by 40%. Then I have Max Despair and 3 debuffs active. That gives me another 45% regeneration reduction, so I'm reducing his regeneration by about 45%. So triggering buffet wasn't that critical. Here in the end, I do manage to sneak in another level 2, and the fight's over. It wasn't nowhere near as tricky, hard, or risky as I thought it would be, but it is a very tricky placement. I must give it to them. I don't think there are too many great options for that fight. And yeah, definitely a very scary placement in a sense. And, you know, it involved Claire, Mr. Fantastic pre-fights, and all sorts of boosts and all sorts of, you know, specific masteries to counter it relatively safely. If you have some really good option against that Nimrod, I'm all ears. I was thinking that maybe Thing can be a decently good option, but who knows? And right. That being said, now I'm up against Penny Parker here. And Penny Parker, I hate fighting Penny Parker. Penny Parker is probably the champion I dislike fighting against most right now. I really, really dislike the entire idea of this champion. I'm not saying she's the hardest defender. She's the most annoying defender. It's always a lengthy fight. You need to go and disable that shield all the time. And then whenever you do make a slip up, your power gets drained. And, you know, it's just annoying. It really is what it is. And this fight's going to last forever. It's going to last forever. So I entered Poison Curse. I was thinking initially that it would help me, you know, power control a bit more. But I will soon notice that I have made a few too many mistakes here initially with that auto block. And I'm going to, I think, try and use level 2 here, and it's going to get auto blocked in the middle again, and that cost me a ton of health. So at this point, I'm at 59% health, and Penny is at 81. So we're going to go to the base strategy of fighting Penny Parker, and that is tapping her block. So we're going to be tapping her block, disabling the shield, and then attacking. And it's just annoying. It really is. It's so annoying. Like, this node obviously has rage, so I can't do a lot of damage in a single, you know, big hit. So this is always going to be a long fight in between that, and in between me having to disable that shield every time she gets it back. This fight's just meh. But Black Widow Clairvoyant is a very solid option. Black Widow Clairvoyant is definitely a fairly solid option here in the sense that I can benefit from triggering rage and then negating the fury buffs, and, you know, can gain power quicker, and I can also heal should I find it necessary, which I do. So I'm going to be trying to get to level 2 on Bleed Curse now, because my health was fairly low, and I decided that I probably should try and regenerate some, because I don't want to get too close, especially I don't want to get close to Assassin's range. So again, she has her block active, and with that I need to get rid of that shield, and this fight has already lasted for like 2.5 minutes. Man, I hate Penny Parker. I really do hate fighting Penny Parker. It's a cancer of a design, in my opinion. I hope we never see a champion similarly designed to this one. Nimrod and Penny Parker are some of the most obnoxious designs that I've seen in this game arrive recently with, haha, your champion abilities do not work for whatever reasons, just because we said so. It's another one of the things that, in my opinion, speaks to creative bankruptcy of some designers in Kabam, when they can't figure out abilities or ability sets that would be new or hard to fight against, and they have to resort to only saying your, I don't know, auto block counters don't work. In case of Nimrod, your armor break champions don't work, and stuff like that. It's just lazy. It's what it is. And with that, I really, really dislike Penny, but I also dislike Nimrod. But that being said, we can see that this fight is slowly but surely coming to an end. I have kind of managed to stick to the game plan in the second half by consistently disabling the shield, baiting out the level 1s most of the time, unless I push her to level 2 just to get in a bit more damage. And yeah, once the shield is disabled, I'm able to do some more damage, get a bit more aggressive, and that is it. So again, I'm gonna get in a parry here, nullify that fury, perfect, go for the level 2. And with this one, I had like power drain on, I believe. So here I'm gonna go for parry and heavy, and the fight is over. So this was a very long fight, like 4 minutes plus, I believe. And I didn't enjoy a single moment of it. I don't enjoy fighting pennies. And I just wish she would not exist in this game in her current format, if that makes sense. I'm not talking about her offensively or her as a character. I'm talking about all of those bullshit defensive mechanics where, you know, she can ignore ability accuracy reduction and she can ignore true strike 2 accuracy and whatever else, man. It's just bullshit is what it is. Anyways, now we have one more fight left, and that is Mysterio. And here we're going to be using Cosmic Ghost Rider. Now I'm going to be quite needlessly activating this combat regeneration boost, but I had still some in overflow, so it's fine. It's more so that they don't expire, and you know, I suppose going in a fight with a combat regeneration boost is better than without one. Then I activated 150% Cosmic Power Boost, just in case, you know, a little bit of extra help. And here, well, the goal and the mission is fairly simple. Just get to level 2 and destroy him. I don't want this guy to use a single special attack, because they are unblockable. Then I would have to dex, and then I can't get the precision. Here is one mistake that I made. I reparry, and I went in for heavy and level 2. I need to get used to that in Alliance Wars. I can't do that. I need to do heavy separately, and then I need to go for level 2. It's just one of those little things. And here I just decided to finish with level 1 in order not to mess with that node, and that was more than enough damage. Now the war is still technically going on, but we have solid enough lead in this war, and there are only a few fights left. I can comfortably say that we won this war. I believe the score currently is like 15-2. So it's a fairly big gap with only like a handful of fights to go on our side. So we might die a couple more times, but hopefully we don't, and we definitely are going to win this one. So finally we have a win. So we are still 1 win, 2 losses. And now let's hope we can start building on this and go on a little bit of a win streak to hopefully position ourselves somewhere more comfortably in Masters bracket. It's extremely doubtful with performances like our start was that we're going to make it in top 3 unless there's going to be a very competitive season like last season. And, you know, God willing, somebody gets docked. Just not us. Then maybe, but I don't know. I think I'm going to be happy if we finish somewhere in top 10 Masters with the start like this. Either way, that was it for me in this war. I had few different fights, few trickier fights, and you know, I like wars like that. I like when I get given a bit more stressful assignments, I suppose. Let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about